I think we're going to understand today that sustainability surprisingly isn't about doing what we've been doing, but doing things differently. Change is critical. Change in how we think. Stereotypes are so dangerous to sustainability. I don't know how many of you had the chance to go see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra at Consol Energy Center this past week, and about 25,000 were there. And the story began with the standard stereotype, this hard-hearted business person that was saved by some type of Christmas ghost. And I'm sure many of you have played Monopoly and seen the banker there with cigar and the big belly and the Brooks Brothers suit and the cuffs on his pants. That's not the future. That's not how we should look at bankers. That's not how we should look at business. We need to break from that if we want to make a sustainable world. So I'm here today representing the 7,500 professional bankers that we have in downtown Pittsburgh with BNY Mellon. And I'm wearing Brooks Brothers and cuffs, but this is much more the uniform of the employees we have at our firm. We need to break out of those stereotypes. And so today what I want to do is talk to you about how companies are being socially responsible and encourage you to think about how you can partner with them. So if we can go to my first slide, or my only slide, I have two key points for you today. One, most businesses exist to serve a social need. That's why they exist. Two, we want our businesses here in Pittsburgh to be sustainable, and that takes us helping them. So in what may be a surprise to many of you, sustainability is partially about the environment, but it's also about society, it's about governance, and as companies go about corporate social responsibility, yes, there's philanthropy, yes, there's the environmental work, but frankly, for most companies, that's a small part of what they contribute to sustainability. Businesses instead are largely about doing their business well and ethically in order to serve society for the long term. So coming back to, these were our Dockers, by the way, made by Levi's. So coming back to the outfit today, the uniform of our employees, quality never goes out of style is Levi's motto. And in fact, if you were to look inside your jeans, if they're Levi's, you'll note they say, please donate when no longer needed. They make a product of such high quality, it lasts beyond your use. Levi's also was the first company to create a multinational human rights, comprehensive human rights statement of conduct for manufacturing. You see, most of their product is made in factories that are not theirs, but they created in 1991 the first human rights plan for working with suppliers to get it right. Surely there's much more to do, but companies are leading in this effort. Levi's is also a leader in making sure that the cotton that goes into the materials, which consumes a great deal of water, is being done using less water, and they've created the Global Better Cotton Initiative. Of course, the best thing we can do is all of us wear our jeans about 7 times, wash them in cold water and hang dry them, because that's where the most water gets used, is in your use, not in the company's use. So turning to Google, another interesting organization when you think about corporate social responsibility. Google's mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Clearly, their mission is about serving society, and I think we're all very thankful that Google got started, and Google is so determined to do its work well. Also, in their corporate social responsibility statement, they list 10 things that they know to be true. Let me share 3. You can make money without doing evil. They know that, they believe that, they're working at that. The need for information crosses all borders. Russia just closed down a news agency yesterday. China, of course, has their challenges, but Google is driven to provide information across the world. And another one, you can be serious without a business suit. Hopefully I'm helping prove that one today. So love what Google's doing. I'm sure we support them. IBM, type Smarter Planet into Google, and you'll find that within the first 20 searches, all of them mention IBM. IBM has truly grabbed onto the concept of smarter planet. The lead result says, IBM is working with our clients to make many aspects of our world smarter, such as in healthcare and roadways. I would suggest that President Obama might want to contact IBM about some help on healthcare, and I encourage Governor Corbett to be in touch with IBM for some help now that we have the transportation bill passed. So they're out there to make a smarter planet. That's their main focus. I think we wish them well in their business. To take on a bit more challenging one, BP. Okay, I picked this example as the challenges they faced in the Gulf a few years ago helped reshape our focus, the corporate social responsibility industry's focus, on the key business and purpose of each firm. Their strategy statement, their lead strategy statement says their job is to create value for shareholders by helping to meet the world's growing energy needs. Yes, we are choosing to consume energy, and they're there to meet it safely and responsibly. Let me read a little further from their strategy document. We strive to be a safety leader in our industry. This is a new strategy document. A world-class operator, a responsible corporate citizen, and a good employer. We are working to enhance safety and risk management and earn back trust and grow value. I think we all wish them great success as we closely watch them live out this challenging strategy in their industry. Hopefully with these examples, you see my first point. Most businesses exist to serve a social need, something we need, something we want. My second point is we want our businesses in Pittsburgh to be sustainable. It's probably pretty clear why we want that. As a community, we value the economic benefits of having multinational companies operating in our region. They bring value. Most importantly, they bring jobs. So it's important that we make our region attractive to these firms. For BNY Mellon, a global firm with its headquarters in New York City, our number one Pennsylvania legislative priority over the last 3 years has been securing sufficient and stable funding for our transit system. That's what our company has lobbied harder for in the state of Pennsylvania than anything else. The reason we do that? About half of our 7,500 employees that work downtown depend on transit. If they can't readily get to and from work, then we, BNY Mellon, have challenges in doing our jobs, our firm's job for society. At BNY Mellon, we manage some $26 trillion of investments for the world. We need to do that so those investments are there and moved securely, and you can count on that money being there. So we need our employees to be able to get back and forth to work. It's that simple. So without a good transit system, Pittsburgh could lose some of its advantage as being a good place to locate BNY Mellon employees. So we were delighted to work with the Allegheny Conference, with County Executive Rich Fitzgerald, and with Governor Corbett to finally produce a good solution to transit, one that will carry us out for 10 years, and also some of our other large transportation issues. The idea for the Allegheny Conference and its partner members, like BNY Mellon, to emphasize transit came out of a forum just like this 3 years ago. Our hope is today we can identify other key and doable ways to increase the sustainability for our region, making it not only a great place to live, but a great place to work. Having just passed the 50th anniversary of President Kennedy's assassination, forgive me for massaging his most famous words, but I think it helps get across the point that I want to leave you with for your afternoon considerations. Ask today not what our businesses can do for us. They are here working on a social mission to meet your needs, and they are driving economic vitality. So let's ask instead what we can do to support and sustain our business partners. I thank you very much. What I'd like to do now is turn it over to Hardik, who's going to go a little deeper on how corporations can go even further to the social purpose. So I encourage you to welcome Hardik. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, Pittsburgh. I want to share stories about two entrepreneurs that are just as impactful, but probably not as well known as the folks at Levi's. First, I'd like you to meet Francesco Piezzi. He's on the screen here. He runs a company called Échale a tu Casa. They operate in a region of Mexico where most residents live in situations that look something like this. They are generally unsafe, unsanitary homes, and they can't withhold natural disasters like hurricanes, which occur pretty often there. And even if you could afford a home there, it takes about 14 years, again, 10 to 14 years to purchase a new home through government or through a private builder. Instead, what his company does is they will go into a village and teach the families how to build their own home. It costs about half as much, and it takes only 3 months. Here's what a home looks like after it's built. This company goes above and beyond to help these kinds of families with financial literacy training on how to maintain an environmentally efficient home. Their job is to alleviate this region out of poverty through affordable housing. Next, I want you to meet Fred Keller. He runs a company called Cascade Engineering. They make parts for the automotive industry. They employ about 2,000 people in Michigan, and their primary mission is to figure out how to keep these people employed and engaged for a long period of time. And as a result, they've realized that, you know what, we're going to forgo other opportunities like shipping jobs overseas, and instead we're going to keep these employees here and figure out how to diversify their products into renewable energy so that they can keep these folks employed. Both of these entrepreneurs feel that we can't wait for the government or the nonprofit sector to solve their community's social problems. And instead, what they feel is that business is quite honestly the biggest and most powerful man-made force on the planet, and that if deployed properly, it can solve some of their society's issues. And these kinds of companies are called B corporations. There are about 900 of them across the world. Many of whom you may know, like Patagonia Outdoor Apparel or Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And what's interesting about these companies is not their individual stories, it's what they're trying to build together as a community of companies. They realize that, look, capitalism needs to be repurposed, that there are some modest tweaks that we could make to make this system a little bit more effective for a social purpose. And the first problem that they've identified is that, look, the way corporate law works isn't necessarily supportive of all of the needs of these entrepreneurs, because what it often says is that if you're the director or the board member of a company, you got to do what's in the best interest of your shareholders, even if that's at the expense of your employees, community, or environment. And so what these companies are trying to say is, well, no, maybe we can change the rules of the game a little bit. And so what they're saying is, hey, why can't we give our directors more flexibility so that they can consider the interests of both shareholders and stakeholders at the same time? Because what these companies are thinking about more often than not is how will they maintain their social mission over a long period of time, especially if they decide to acquire a fifth round of capital, or if they decide to replace their CEO, or if they decide to sell the company. How can we play by a new set of rules that allows for us to maintain our mission over a long period of time? In fact, this is so attractive that there are now 20 states that have passed legislation that gives these kinds of companies more flexibility to maintain mission. Second thing that these companies are doing, or they're realizing, is that their companies will only manage what they measure. And if they care about how they employ their people, or if they care about how they source their products, or how their company affects the environment, that they have to start measuring these things in a very different way than they're used to. They can't just put out numbers in a report that make themselves look good, but they have to objectively assess themselves against a higher standard. And so together they've built this tool called the B Impact Assessment that does exactly that. In fact, it grades them pretty rigorously, and it compares their performance to other companies of their type. And now these companies are using this tool to figure out how to improve their performance. There are now well over 15,000 companies that are following in their footsteps and using this platform. Another set of investors, business associations that are doing the same. So again, what's interesting with all of these folks is not their individual stories. It's about the systemic problems that they're trying to solve with capitalism. And I say this out loud, Pittsburgh, because I think that this city has a lot of great infrastructure already in place. You have public institutions, you have government that is supportive of sustainability, and the question is, how are we going to get the other 25,000, 40,000 businesses that are in Pittsburgh to follow suit? Because if you do that, then you're really changing the culture of what it would mean to be a good business in Pittsburgh. Thank you.